Good evening, I'm Sadaf Ibrahim and you're watching CPC TV. January is officially declared as a Tamil Heritage Month in Canada. So today we'll talk about Tamil heritage, Tamil history and language, and all the achievement and contribution of the people of Tamil here in Canada. So let me welcome my guest, Kumar Punitavali. Hi Kumarji, how are
Good
you?
evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. Thank you very much. I'm fine. The weather is good and I'm happy.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, the weather is getting better. So, Kumarji,
I,
before we start our show, can you tell us about yourself briefly?
I from originally from Sri Lanka and I'm a profession. I'm an engineer. Then I worked in Sri Lanka as well as in Nigeria. And from Nigeria, I moved to Toronto and I came as a refugee because of the violence happening in Sri Lanka. But I'm very well settled in Canada, thankful to whatever Canada offered me. I started a grocery store, then I did so many jobs and finally end up as an insurance agent. That's what life is all about.
Hmm.
Just pick up and move forward. And now I'm a happily retired person uh, and living happily in Canada.
Yes, great. So, right now you are in Ottawa, and January is like officially declared as a Tamil Heritage Month, right? So, tell us about more. Are you associated with any organization or here in Ottawa, or about tell us about more about Tamil history and heritage?
Okay. I'll start very briefly. I'll go through a bird's eye view. It's
Hmm.
one of the oldest, practically yes, still being used language. The original homeland of Tamil was in a continent called Kumarikandam, which went underwater due to continental shift tsunamis. But the language survived in the southern part of India. Ancient Tamil literature speaks of three sangams or assemblies. First two sangams were devoured by the sea during the tsunami catastrophes, and the third established in Madurai. We have enough literary materials to confirm the third academy with over 2,000 poems composed by over 470 poets. And it is interesting to know, even in those days,
Hmm.
there were more than 30 female poets who had contributed to the store of poems.
Hmm.
One of the recent archaeological findings in Tamil South India found a stone Tamil mummies which is dated more than 600 years common era. So you can imagine they had been there with nice canals, roads, buildings, etc. So that
Yeah.
means they must have been there even before that to develop to that extent.
Hmm.
Tolkapiam is a book of grammar is believed to be about 3,000 years old and it is now available. It not only gives a grammar for language, it includes examples to explain the rules, and those examples provide direct information about the ancient Tamil culture, society, and linguistic geography. So you can
Hmm.
imagine it's a fairly old one. Now, as far as the present day, there are
Hmm.
about 80 million Tamils speaking around the world. And in India, there are about 73 million. In Sri Lanka, about 2.5 million. North America, inclusive of US and Canada, about a
Hmm.
million. Malaysia, about 1.8 million. Singapore, 7,000. South Africa, another 600,000. And there are so many other countries too. They
And
have
and
been
and and what's the
scattered.
population? Yeah, and what's the population here in Canada, or like all over, like the Tamil community?
The world population wise, it is 80 odd million, but in Canada
Hmm.
alone, close upon
Hmm.
500,000, all over
500,000.
scattered
Okay,
from
all over the can.
Vancouver,
Yeah. Hmm.
Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to a 2001 survey, there were 1,863 newspapers published in Tamil around the world, of which 353 were dailies. So you can imagine how scattered and how much it is being in use. Of
Mm-hmm.
the 22 languages of India, the first book to be printed in India was a Tamil one. In 1578, Portuguese Christian missionaries published a Tamil prayer book in Old Tamil script named Tambiran Vanakkam, thus making Tamil the first Indian language to be printed and published in India. Not only that, the Tamil lexicon published by the University of Madras was one of the earliest dictionaries published in Indian language. So you can imagine for a long time there had been a rich heritage of
Mm-hmm.
Tamil language. And
Right.
we Canadians accept all
Mm.
are equal. That's our fundamental motto.
Mm.
Canadians, even when I came in, I was acted as a human being. So that is the greatness of Canada. Such sentiments was expressed 2000 years ago by a bard named Kaniyan Pungudanar, who said, Yadumure Yavarun Kerlir, meaning world is my hamlet, humanity my kin. That is the spirit on which we Canadians indulge in. This poem
Mm.
was quoted by Gigi Ponnammal at the United Nations and got a standing ovation in 1966. Again, Dr. Abdul Kalam gave it at the European Union, and there too he got a, because everybody agreed humanity is one and
Yes,
world is should be our hamlet, no difference. The
definitely. Yeah.
religious people too, who says, Onde Kulam Orvane Thevan. Basically, what he says is there's only one God and one race. We may call it by so many names, but it is humanity is the only race. And
Mm.
at this juncture, I must say about a great Canadian scholar about 200 years ago. G.U. Pope, a great scholar born in Prince Edward Island in 1791, was a great scholar in English, Latin, Tamil, Telugu, and Sanskrit. Lived for 4 decades in Tamil Nadu, India, and ended his career as chaplain at Oxford, Baswell College. He had got this to say in his translation of great Tamil book Tirukural, which was written 2000 years ago. The English friends, in teaching them all that the West has to impart, listen, teach in the moral lessons of Kural, rightly understood. Let me quote what Tirukural had to
Mm.
say about the subject I was taking about humanity. One of his couplets, it contains of 1300 couplets, and one of the couplets says, பிறப்புக்கும் எல்லாவிற்கும் சிறப்பொவ்வா செய்தொழில் வேற்றுமையான். All beings are the same in birth, but work decides their varied worth. That is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. We are all same at birth, but work we do makes us
Yeah.
worth more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And we have declared January as a Tamil Heritage Month in Canada,
Month.
and
Yeah.
we were the
Mm.
first to do it. And now UK, Australia, and several states in US has followed our example, and they have declared Tamil as a heritage language.
This
This year,
okay,
Honorable
and the
yes,
same month. I mean, they declare UK or
yes,
the other country
yes.
January. Okay.
Yeah, we have a saying in Tamil says Thai Purandal Vali Purakum. That is, with January, there will
Mm.
be a way to continue our life because the sun will start moving northward. You all agree.
Mm.
Once the sun has started moving north, we know in Canada the life is going to be better. Even at the
Mm.
beginning itself, we said now times are changing. So
Yeah.
we consider that's a beginning of a new pleasant life ahead. So
Yeah.
at the time declaring this as a heritage month, The honorable governor had to say this. Whereas Tamil traditions, language, and heritage have impacted many aspects of the economic, social, and cultural history of our states and nation, he declares January 2022 Tamil Language and Culture Month in North Carolina. As you could
Mm-hmm.
see, Australia did the same. The thing is, we are humans. We are all the same.
Yeah.
That's the spirit on which we have been looking at the world. As I said in the beginning, humanity is my kin and world is my hamlet. I was
Mm-hmm.
born in Sri Lanka in a tiny village. I've been working in Nigeria and now I am here in Canada. I
Canada,
do
yeah.
not know where I go next. For me, the
Right.
world is my hamlet. Now,
Definitely, yeah.
I can give you a brief understanding of
Mm,
how this Heritage Month came into being. Because you may
mm-hmm.
wonder, why suddenly a Heritage Month? In 2009, there was a large-scale bombing by Sri Lankan army of the protected area where civilians were advised by the government to move in. There was a large-scale loss of life. Men, women, children, and elderly were killed indiscriminately. The Tamil people around the world were shocked about what happened. That was the time, under the leadership by a gentleman, Mr. Needan Chan, a teacher and a school board trustee, Tamil organizations rallied around and started presented petitions to the local municipalities to proclaim January as a Tamil Heritage Month, like Black Heritage Month.
Mm.
They were the forerunners for us. A
Yes.
key role was played by Markham Councillor Logan Kanabadi, enabled Markham initially proclaim 3 days around Pongal. That's the time I said how the sun starts moving the
Mm.
January.
Mm-hmm.
Pongal as Tamil Heritage Days in 2012 and later recognized the whole month January as Tamil Heritage Month.
Every
So
month,
that
yeah.
is how first Tamil Heritage Month came.
Mm.
In 2013, Toronto Mayor Rob Ford helped to proclaim Tamil Heritage Month in the largest city in Canada, Toronto. This was
Yes.
followed by many other cities too. You know, monkey see, monkey do. Bottom line is that you
Yeah.
have to start somewhere to go
Somewhere.
forward. Attempts have been made. The 2011 Andrea Howard, the Howard Ontario NDP leader, released the first statement supporting Tamil Heritage Month at the provincial government level. After
Mm.
initial delays, it was passed in the provincial level in 2014. Premiership of Liberal leader Kathleen Wynne, the bill was proposed by whole party. That is, you can see
Mm. Yeah.
APL, conservative, and because truth is one, different people see it at different angles. That's all.
Mm.
So,
Yes.
and following this, attempts to have a federal proclamation to started in 2011, but did not succeed. Later, NDP MP Radhika Sitsabesan introduced a private member bill and failed. In 2016, we reached a milestone when motion was introduced by then recently elected Liberal MP Gary Anand Sangri, a Liberal MP, received support from all parties and passed in the Canadian Parliament under the Liberal Premiership,
Mm.
recognizing January as the Tamil Heritage Month of the nation. This is how slowly
Yeah.
but surely we have been moving towards that direction. So, having a heritage month
Yeah.
does not do
Mm.
much, but it is a recognition. But
Recognition.
to
Yeah.
promote, there are so many other things has to be done. What do we do? Now we had Previously, we had so many processions,
Hmm.
meetings, have lot of cultural programs, different
Program, yeah.
organizations. But once a year, meeting together and cheering does not do much. There is
Hmm.
something more has to be done in fundamentally. Let me just
Yeah.
say
So,
a few.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to ask here in Ottawa, I mean, like you here in Ottawa, so any association or organization here, Tamil, for Tamil community in Ottawa?
Yes.
And are you part of any,
There is.
are you part of any association?
Yes, I was when I was as I told you before COVID, I was in Toronto, and
Toronto, yeah.
I was yeah, I had the pleasure of leading one of the oldest senior Tamil center in Toronto. That is STC Senior Tamil Center of Ontario.
Okay.
Then from there, there have been so many senior centers. That is one side of it. That
Hmm.
is one side of it. Then there are so many other organizations. Canadian Tamil Chamber of Commerce is there, which covers that side of it. Then CTC, Canadian Tamil Congress is there. Then there are other institutions which I must mention. Uh, there are smaller groups which conduct classes in
Okay.
weekends and the evenings teaching Tamil
A
so that the
language,
children will be
teaching the language, Tamil language
to the children.
to the children.
And there
Yeah.
is another major organization I should mention, Tamilisai Kalamandram, which was formed about 30 odd years ago, who conduct exams and in both Tamil music and dance, fine
Hmm.
arts. That is another aspect of our
Hmm.
language, Tamil music and Tamil
In dance, yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
Now, that one, they have their own auditorium, they conduct classes. They don't conduct classes, they allow the different qualified teachers to conduct class, and we conduct the examination in a common basis.
Hmm. Yes.
And they used to give trophies, certificates. Once a person get to the grade sufficient, they can start conduct. I'm glad to say now the second generation of Tamils are teaching fine arts like music and dance. And there have been so many debuts and so many functions happening. And on
Indeed.
top of it, I will be failing in my duty if I don't mention about a distance education program by Annamalai University in South India is operating a campus in Toronto and conducting exams for BA, MA, and PhD in Tamil and Fine Arts. The
Okay.
courses are conducted by teachers in Toronto in the evenings and weekends. So we are producing PhDs, BAs, MAs. The examiners are coming from South India, from Annamalai University. That is one of the first universities in Tamil Nadu. And
Okay.
incidentally, the first Tamil professor is from Sri Lanka. So it's a universal affair. And
Yeah.
this is what is happening as far as your question, that is, are we educating
Hmm.
our Tamil fine arts and Tamil uh, uh, dance music? Now, there was another question, are we teaching them the culture? That's a fair question. Are we
Yeah.
teaching them the
Teaching.
Tamil culture?
Yes.
Now, I must tell you, all parents must realize
Hmm.
culture is not taught. It is a case of monkey see, monkey do.
Hmm. Right.
Please, if you are a violent person, your children are going to be violent.
Hmm.
If you are a very timid person, so you have to set an example.
Yes.
Recently, I will give my own experience. We had the Pongal festival. That is festival. It's a harvest festival. We give offerings to sun as a god, and then for the cows, so many happen. That's a subject by itself. Now, when we were um, uh, uh,
Your
offered
voice
sweet
is cut. Your
rice,
voice is cutting off. Yeah, I think. Can you hear me? Yeah, yeah,
you hear now?
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Uh, when we were, when my daughter was cooking rice, she called me to put
Mm.
the first morsel of rice into the pot because our tradition is elders are given the first place. Now,
Yes,
I'm glad I was able to hand over the baton in a proper way. This happens in every family, not on
definitely.
mine. Just giving you my own experience. Each house, the parents there. Now, for example, there is a very interesting couplet I mentioned. When it says, இருந்தோம்பி இல்வாழ்வதெல்லாம் விருந்தோம்பி வேளாண்மை செய்தற் பொருட்டு. It, basically what it says is, men
Hmm.
set up home and earn to tend the guest and do good turn. For us, receiving the guest is one of the most prime thing. I have found this in so
Yes,
many other communities too. As an
yes,
insurance agent, when I go to a particular community, I don't want to mention. Whenever I go, they say, "Sir, can I give you a cup of tea? Can I give you a
yes.
cup of
It's
coffee?"
almost the same basically thing with all like for all the community, right? Like like
Yes.
basic fundamental like same. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
So
those, it's
yeah. So I will
so there
actually
is no cost.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I will ask you, Kumarji. You share a lot with us, and I will ask you what like what would you like to say? Your message to the whole Tamil community. What would you like to say?
Essentially, you should be proud enough that you inherited something great. A nation 2000 years ago had a vision. Vision is, world is my hamlet, humanity my kin.
Right.
That kind of attitude we have to live in. Don't give in for racial, religious, no way. It's all the same. We are all kin, and the world is our home. If this world lives, we live. If the world perishes, all of us are gone. So the Tamil heritage is accept everybody as equal, treat them
Mm.
equally and kindly, and make this world a better place for the next generation. And that is what
Yes.
I believe in.
That's right. That's indeed 100% right. Thank you so much, Kumarji. I really appreciate your time and thank you so much for sharing with us your history and heritage. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Stay
I
safe.
just one point I'll say.
Yeah,
Whenever
yeah,
we
yeah. Go.
greet, you may be interested to know this. Whenever we greet somebody, we do like this, "Vanakkam."
Yeah.
The word itself, "Vanakkam" says is come together. Va is come
Wow.
together, inakam. So here,
Okay.
right and left get together. Left and
Okay.
right, all of us get together and make this world a heaven in earth. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Take care.